With the downing of MH17, Malaysian Airlines has now lost 2 airplanes in the span of 4.5 months. It's a tragedy that's never happened to any airline company in history. Now, what can they do? I'm Ramy Inocencio for Asia Today. Vivian Lines is Global Vice Chairman for Hill+Knowlton Strategies, and he joins me right now from Sydney. Now, Viv, this is an unprecedented tragedy, to say the least. Will Malaysian Airlines survive this?
They have to do a number of things, Ramy. We have to look at it in terms of the short-term needs, the mid-term needs, and the long-term needs of the airline. As you say, this is a double tragedy of a magnitude that we've never seen before. It's very different from what we've seen before in terms of MH17 even. This time we have a crash site. This time we have a clear knowledge of how it has been brought down, which can be established, and we have a black box. This makes it very different in terms of the short-term response that MH will need to give on this. This will put into process their normal crisis plans, and they will be able to attend to the relatives of the passengers and also the crew. There will be closure for these people. That did not occur with MH17 so far. That will make it a little bit easier for the relatives, but the tragedy is still immense. I think that the longer term is where we need to focus in terms of how Malaysian Airlines will need to respond. They will need to do a fundamental reassessment of their brand moving forward. They need to be able to reassure people that Malaysian Airlines is a safe airline. It is an airline that has had this tragedy, but it is an airline that is moving forward. So therefore, they will be looking at probably a full brand overhaul. This will take an enormous amount of communication internally and also externally to their major stakeholders, and they will need a full brand recovery program across all of those stakeholders.
And that recovery, of course, has already been happening after the flight MH17 crashed 4.5 months ago. Now, what kinds of lessons do you think they learned there that could be translated moving forward with MH17?
Just in terms of the sheer response, this time on MH17, it's very noticeable that the Malaysian Prime Minister has already been on TV. There has been a very, very fast response, much faster than we have seen before. And I think that, once again, this is because, regrettably, we do actually have an accident site and we do have plane wreckage. And this means that they can put in place their responses, and it's a much more, there is a response plan which they can work to, which they could not work to when there was no site, no wreckage.
Of course, and this is something, of course, that could have happened to any airline flying over that airspace, but it just happened to be Malaysian Airlines here. You know, of course, a lot of people are looking at this news as it's developing, and they're saying, another airline, Malaysian Airlines, should I actually step onto an aircraft? What do you say to that?
Flying is one of the most safe modes of transportation. I myself will be getting on a flight in about an hour's time, 2 hours' time, to go back to Singapore, and I have no qualms about getting on that flight. I feel immensely safe when I fly. This is most unfortunate. If you look over history, you will find that there have only been 2 other incidents in recent history of this sort of magnitude. One of which was the Pan Am 103 being shot down over Lockerbie. And then we had the Korean Airlines 007, which was shot down in 1983, once again by fighter jets this time, but over Soviet airspace. So this is very, very unusual. And this is something where people should not be alarmed in terms of flying.
All right. Vivian Lines, Global Vice Chairman for Hill+Knowlton Strategies. Thank you so much for the time and for the analysis. Follow the Wall Street Journal's continuing coverage of the downing of Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 right now on thewallstreetjournal.com. I'm Ramy Inocencio in Hong Kong.